All right, today we're going to jump into something really fascinating. We're doing a deep dive into the philosophical and theological reasoning tucked away in the Quran's 27th chapter, Surah An-Naml. We're going to unpack the logical arguments it lays out for the oneness of God, using this ancient text as our roadmap. It's a journey right to the intersection of faith and reason, so let's get into it.
So the chapter doesn't just jump into this argument cold. First, it recounts the stories of past prophets, kind of setting the stage. And then it pivots to its central message. And you'll see, that message isn't just a command to have blind faith. It's presented as a totally rational case for belief. It all kicks off with this powerful, repeated question that's designed to make you question your most basic assumptions about how reality works.
And this is the question. A ilahun ma'allah? Which means, is there any God with Allah? Now, according to the commentary, this isn't a question looking for a yes or no answer. It's a rhetorical challenge. It's the absolute core of the logical proof we're about to walk through. It's an invitation to stop, think critically, and actually weigh the evidence for yourself. Okay, so where does the argument start? Does it begin with some super complex, abstract philosophy? Nope. It starts with the most direct evidence any of us have, the world right in front of us. This first proof is all about what we can see, what we can touch, and what we experience every day. That incredible order and harmony you find in the natural world.
The very first piece of evidence is a question about origins. Who made all of this? The verse points to the heavens and the earth. I mean, think about it. This vast, intricate, and perfectly ordered universe as Exhibit A. The argument being made is that the sheer scale and complexity of it all points to a single intelligent source.
And then the argument kind of zooms in. We go from the cosmic scale of galaxies right down to the tangible reality of our own planet. It brings up the system of rain. The text is arguing that this isn't just some random thing that happens. It's a vital part of a fine-tuned life support system. It's a mechanism that sustains all life, and that points to a planner who is both benevolent and wise. And what's the result of that finely tuned system of rain? Well, the verse points to these beautiful, vibrant gardens. But then, and this is the real kicker, it delivers a direct challenge. You could not have produced their trees. This is a flat-out statement about the limits of human power. It presents the complex, self-sustaining beauty of life as the signature of a creator whose capacity is way beyond our own. You know, there's actually a formal name in Islamic philosophy for this whole line of thinking. It's called the argument from nizam, which means order or design. The core idea is simple, but wow, is it profound. Wherever you see intricate design and perfect harmony, it's just logical to conclude that there's a single intelligent designer behind it. Chaos, the argument goes, doesn't just randomly create a cosmos.
But the argument doesn't just stop there with what we can see. It actually goes deeper. It builds into a more abstract philosophical proof. We're moving from the observable world into the realm of pure logic itself, and we're about to tackle that fundamental question of a first cause.
Now, to really get this next part, we need to understand a key concept. The word is illat, which you can basically translate to cause. The whole thing is built on a foundational principle of philosophy. Something can't come from nothing. Every single effect has to have a cause that brought it into being. This idea is the bedrock for the entire argument that's coming next.
So check out how this logical chain is laid out. First, everything we see and experience is an effect, or a matlul. Second, every effect, by its very definition, needs a cause, an illat. Third, and this is the absolute key, you can't have an infinite chain of these causes just stretching back forever and ever. That's a logical impossibility. It's like a train with an endless number of cars, but no engine to pull any of them. The chain has to start somewhere, and therefore, logically, there must be a first cause, one that is itself uncaused.
Okay, so let's recap. According to this interpretation, we have two huge pillars for the argument from design and the logical necessity of a first cause. Now, the text takes this solid foundation and uses it to dismantle the alternative view, polytheism, the belief in multiple gods. And this is where you see the two worldviews clash. On one hand, you have monotheism, or tawhid. It proposes a single, uncaused, totally self-sufficient first cause. Everything fits. It's a clean, logically complete system. But then you have polytheism, or shirk, and that's where the logic starts to fall apart. See, if you have multiple gods, are they dependent on something else? Because if they are, they're not ultimate causes. Are they all independent? Well, if they are, the argument goes, you'd have competing wills and a universe of pure chaos, not the incredible order we actually see.
The verse delivers its verdict on this logical problem with this really powerful phrase, بَلْ هُمْ قَوْمٌ يَعْدِلُونَ. Now, it's often translated as they swerve from justice, but the commentary we're digging into emphasizes something even more fundamental here. They are swerving from reason, from logic itself. The choice of polytheism is framed not just as some theological mistake, but as an actual departure from a rational conclusion.
So, after walking through the evidence from design and the pure logic of causality, what's the big takeaway? Well, the analysis suggests the whole argument is structured like a path paved not with demands for blind faith, but with reason, and it's intended to lead the listener from simple observation all the way to a solid conviction.
In essence, what this Quranic argument is saying as it's presented here is that the journey of faith actually begins with your intellect. It starts by looking at something as simple as a garden, asking, how did that get here? And then following that chain of logical deductions all the way back to its ultimate source. According to this interpretation, faith isn't the opposite of reason. It's the destination that reason leads you to.
And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? This whole method of analysis, of looking for the rational structure underneath a sacred text, is a really powerful tool. It makes you wonder, right? Where else in other ancient scriptures or philosophies can we find these kinds of profound logical frameworks just hiding in plain sight, waiting to be explored?